Hello, this is Aaron Mean of SG Game Info, and welcome to my video review of EA Dice's multiplayer shooter, Star Wars Battlefront. During the beta for EA Dice's Star Wars Battlefront, I was rather critical of the game, and so has the full version eased or changed my opinion? Well, yes, the full release version has changed my opinion in both good and bad ways. I found myself disliking the game's unlock system more, but I did enjoy the array of modes the full game has to offer. So now let's talk about all the modes the game has to offer. Modes are initially broken into two categories, multiplayer and missions. Missions are short single player and co-op missions that include training, battles, which is where you fight against AI characters, where you can play as either a normal character or as a hero character. And finally there is survival, which involves surviving against a wave of enemies in either a single player or co-op fashion. In multiplayer mode you have a selection of 9 modes, including Supremacy, Walker Assault, Fighter Squadron, Blast, Cargo, Drop Zone, Droid Run, Hero Hunt, and Heroes vs Villains. While many of the modes initially feel similar, the goals are different. For example, Supremacy and Walker Assault are both 40-man modes that include heroes and vehicles, but the difference between them is the goal. In Walker Assault you have to either defend or destroy AT-ATs, but in Supremacy the route to victory involves capturing the most control points. While the game has a good number of modes, the game suffers in the planetary variety. All the single player and multiplayer modes are spread across only 4 planets: Endor, Hoth, Tatooine and Sullust. While these are all recognizable planets for Star Wars fans, I would have loved to have seen more than just a desert world, an ice world, a jungle, and a rocky-filled lava world. We know there will be at least one new post-launch world in the form of Jakku, which looks nice and will include 2 interesting game modes, but at the end of the day it is another desert world. Now that's enough about modes and maps. What about the gameplay? Well, gameplay is very much like your standard online shooter, L2 to zoom, R2 to fire. The game has collector abilities scattered around the map you play on, but the abilities that are available depend on which mode you're in. For example, the ability to spawn in a vehicle or become a hero character is not available on all maps. The abilities that are available on all maps include auto turrets, orbital strikes, droids, and more. Star Wars Battlefront also has a feature that I rarely see in multiplayer shooters, and that is the ability to switch between first and third person perspectives on the fly. This feature is rather interesting, as I found playing the third person perspective, which is not the game's default perspective, gives you a large advantage over those who play in the first person. My reasoning for this is the fact that while you play in first person your field of view is small, and when you look down your gun sights the field of view becomes even more narrow. But in third person mode you are given an expanded field of view, which means you can spot people at the corner of your eye easier, and the aim down sight function in third person mode only slightly narrows the camera. So we know ground combat has some issues, but what about vehicular combat with the focus on starfighters? So we know ground combat has some issues, but what about the vehicular combat with the focus on starfighters? Well, they are simple to control. Left analog stick controls speed while the right turns your ship. You have a predetermined star card's ability along with the ability to pull off evasive maneuvers with the directional pad. Now it's time for something that really annoys me with the game: the unlock system. To me, the unlock system needlessly detracts from the fun of the game, with every single aspect of the game hidden behind a rank and credits. The gating of the content is so strong in the unlock system, I would say that it would put off new players, as veterans would be easily able to defeat them with far more advanced star card abilities and weapons. To put into perspective, the thermal detonators, which are essentially grenades, are hidden behind the star card unlock system. What leaves me so annoyed with the unlock system is that the issue could have been easily fixed with the inclusion of a similar system to Call of Duty's class system. Having players being able to choose from pre-made cards and the ability to change card hands mid-match would have certainly made matches feel more balanced. Star cards also suffer from the fact that it cannot be heavily altered mid-game. I say heavily altered because if you have a partner assigned to you, you can choose to use his or her star card setup. The lack of heavy alterations and level requirements for all star card abilities makes for a stagnant gameplay, as you cannot alter your style on the fly. For example, if ground vehicles start spawning, it would be advantageous to have star cards with ion abilities, but setting up a hand in this way means you'll be limiting your ability to fight infantry. Before I forget, there is one other aspect of the game hidden behind the unlock system: unlockable character appearances. This addition made no sense to me, as the unique appearance skins such as alien rebels and alternative troop outfits are hidden behind high ranks and credits. For example, the first trooper variant, Scout Troopers, cannot be unlocked to rank 40 and require 17,000 credits. And the first alien rebel variant, Sullustan, cannot be unlocked until rank 40 and requires 17,000 credits. Personally, I feel a better solution would have been to either remove the rank requirement or made some of the unique looking appearances be accessible at lower levels. For example, maybe every 10 ranks or so you could unlock a unique appearance. Since this is a DICE game, what are the graphics and audio like? Well, DICE's Frostbite engine excels at bringing the world and characters to life, as each world looks just as lush and beautiful as its movie counterparts. And in terms of audio, it's like being in a Star Wars movie, as DICE has all the Star Wars movie sound effects, musics, etc. at its disposal. So what is my conclusion? In conclusion, Star Wars Battlefront is a competent shooter with a large variety of game modes to play, but the game is heavily let down by a poor unlock system. And with that said, I gave Star Wars Battlefront a score of 7 out of 10, with the game's pros being lots of game modes to play, and it looks and sounds like Star Wars. The game's cons are a poor unlock system, and the difference between first and third person views being staggering. This is RME and FSG Gaming Info. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please like, favourite and subscribe. For more gaming information, please visit sggaminginfo.com. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/sggaminginfo. And please follow us on Twitter at sggaminginfo.